Have you ever seen the term NVOCC and wondered what it actually means? It sounds complex, but it's the backbone of global shipping. Maybe you're importing goods, working in logistics, or even thinking about starting your own freight forwarding business. In this video, I'll explain exactly what an NVOCC is, how it differs from a freight forwarder, and how they actually make money. We'll also look at why they're such an important part of global shipping today. Let's dive in. First, let's break down that name. NVOCC stands for Non-Vessel Operating Common Carrier. That's a mouthful, right? To simplify it, an NVOCC is a company that sells ocean freight transportation services without actually owning any ships. Think of it this way: shipping lines own the massive vessels. NVOCCs buy space from those lines in bulk. Then, they turn around and sell that specific container space to customers like you. It's very similar to how the travel industry works. An airline owns the actual physical airplane, but a travel company or agency might buy up blocks of seats and sell them individually to travelers. Similarly, an NVOCC buys container space and resells it to shippers who don't need an entire ship. Let's look at a real-world example to see how this works in practice for a business. Suppose a furniture importer in Houston needs to ship a large order of inventory from a factory in Vietnam. Instead of calling a massive shipping line directly, the importer contacts an NVOCC for a quote. The NVOCC immediately gets to work, booking the necessary space with an ocean carrier on a specific vessel. They handle all the messy details, from arranging the local transport to the port in Vietnam. They also issue the official shipping documents, including the House Bill of Lading, which we'll discuss later. Throughout the journey, the NVOCC tracks the shipment and coordinates the final delivery in Houston. To the furniture importer, the NVOCC appears to be the actual carrier, even though they don't own the ship. They provide a single point of contact and take responsibility for the entire journey of that cargo. Now, you might wonder, why not just go directly to the shipping line? Let's look at the key differences. A shipping line, like Maersk or MSC, owns the ships, operates the vessels, and moves the containers. The NVOCC creates value by making that process easier and more flexible for smaller or medium-sized shippers. Because they purchase space in such high volumes, they often have access to better service options. But here is where many people get confused: the difference between an NVOCC and a freight forwarder. While they look similar, they have a major legal difference. A freight forwarder typically acts as an agent. They arrange transportation on behalf of the customer, coordinating with carriers, but not becoming one. An NVOCC, however, acts as the principal carrier. They take on the legal responsibility for your goods. One of the biggest indicators is the House Bill of Lading. An NVOCC issues their own HBL as a contract of carriage. This means if your cargo is damaged or lost, your legal claim is directly against the NVOCC, not the shipping line. As the carrier of record, they assume the liability. A freight forwarder's liability is often limited to errors in their coordination. NVOCCs are also more likely to own or lease their own containers and operate their own freight stations. So, how do these companies stay profitable? It all comes down to a buy wholesale, sell retail model. The first way is arbitrage, also known as the spread. They negotiate large volume contracts with ocean carriers. By committing to thousands of containers a year, they get a discounted rate that an individual shipper could never get. They then resell that space at a retail markup, providing a competitive price to the shipper while keeping the margin. The most lucrative part of their business is LCL consolidation. This is where they group several small shipments into one. They pay the carrier for one full container, but charge each shipper based on volume. The sum of these fees is often much higher. They also generate income through documentation fees, customs brokerage, and specialized value-added services. Many NVOCCs offer specialized drayage, short-haul trucking, and labeling services, which carry much higher profit margins. By offering these end-to-end solutions, they become indispensable partners for modern, fast-moving e-commerce brands. Why should you choose an NVOCC for your business? The advantages often outweigh the simple costs of shipping. First is cost efficiency. Through consolidation, small shippers get access to rates typically reserved for global giants. Second is carrier neutrality. An NVOCC isn't tied to one ship. If Maersk is full, they can pivot to MSC or Evergreen instantly. Third is their deep expertise. They understand the nuances of specific trade lanes and can navigate complex local port rules. However, there are risks. Because the NVOCC is your carrier, their financial stability is your security. If an NVOCC goes bankrupt while your goods are at sea, it can cause massive delays and legal headaches for your business. Because of these risks, NVOCCs are strictly regulated, especially here in the United States. In the U.S., the Federal Maritime Commission, or FMC, oversees all non-vessel operating common carriers. To operate legally, a company must obtain an Ocean Transportation Intermediary, or OTI, license. About 36% of their shipments are now e-commerce related, forming the backbone of the Amazon-to-door chain. About 36% of their shipments are now e-commerce related, forming the backbone of the Amazon-to-door chain. When choosing an NVOCC, always check for compliance, their track record, and their digital visibility tools. They are also legally required to maintain and publish a public tariff, a schedule of all their rates and rules for everyone to see. While the industry uses private negotiated rate arrangements for specific deals, that baseline tariff must still be accessible. As we move through 2024, the role of the NVOCC has evolved from simple middlemen to digital orchestrators. They now handle a massive portion of global trade, managing over 112 million TEUs last year. In today's world, transparency is non-negotiable. You need to know exactly where your cargo is at all times. To wrap up, NVOCCs provide the expertise and flexible capacity that keep global supply chains moving efficiently. Whether you're a small importer or a growing brand, understanding their role is key to your success. Thanks for watching.